But now that doesn't happen, and more jobs are requiring critical thinking. And whenever you have critical thinking being a requirement, well, that's a problem because a lot of people can't do that. And you can still achieve that without being smarter than 99%. Okay. If you can achieve that without being smarter than 99%, then you probably have something else that puts you in the 1%. And you probably have a confluence of things that put you in the 1%. You could be very attractive. You could come from a richer area. You could be very good at communicating, for example. Like, just because you're not in the 1% of intelligence does not mean that you're not in the 1% of three other things as well. You see what I'm saying? Right there. Yeah, like, for example, like for me, both my parents were master's degree college graduates. My dad worked on a PhD, left, and became a professor in college. He was an executive at a publishing company, and he retired, worked at the IRS. My mom was a writer, and she did that for many, many years, and professional. And so
or Coinbase and trade crypto and stocks. You don't need to go through the rejection.
Yeah, that's another thing is that I think that this is definitely true. I know that I know this is myself. As I said, I don't like revealing my power level for like kind of a little bit how crazy I am. But I used to dig my fingernails into my skin and tear my skin out as just a reminder to myself that I could do whatever I wanted. That's right. I have scars on my back from it. Yep. I did it on my own. And all that's pretty much healed out. And so, yeah. And so, I'm a bit of a weirdo. But the truth is that a lot of people, they feel like they don't have any real autonomy. They can't control themselves. And I think that for me, there were a lot of cases in my life where I think that, for example, like I got a lot stronger dealing with something that was like extremely, like really, really bad. Like for example, like whenever all my teeth started falling, I was such a bitch before that. I was a total bitch. And like after that happened to me, that really, like it fucked me up a lot. But I was a lot more fucking resilient. Big pain is no joke. Yeah, exactly. You go fucking tell the truth, your question is fuck. Yeah, it's like it is. And the same thing happened like with my mom. Like after she passed away, I think about like, because I'll watch videos of myself before them, and I think about like how like emotionally weak I was. I was incredibly weak, and like having to deal with that and the stress and pressure of that was just so bad that it like. And this is the thing. This is the problem. Is that like it definitely changed who I was as a person in a good and a bad way. And I think that there are a lot of other instances that I've had this happen in my life too, where like now I think that I am more. Did you hate yourself at the time? Yeah, of course. I wanted to kill myself. Sure, but I didn't do it. I was a pussy, right? I mean, let's be honest. So yeah, and so that's what happened. And I think that a lot of guys nowadays, they don't have to go through a lot of those things in a lot of cases. Like a lot of social friction. I think that's a good example of it. And I'm using like extreme examples from my life, but there's a lot of like very, very low examples, like getting kicked out of a friend group, having people dislike you, getting turned down by a girl, something like that. And a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do that. And guess what? If you spend so much time not doing that, you're going to be in a bad spot. So instead of getting higher, yeah. Imagine you did. You missed out on being incredibly successful. Spent all in the cool dude. I don't really ever think about that stuff. I don't. Guys, there's a reason why I don't think about it. It doesn't matter. The point is that this guy is right that being on social media and spending all the time on the internet does, I think, make people a lot weaker.
You know, expense and
like mentioned,
working at the science to get the dynamic relationship you have youth with. So we have an entire generation, especially in men, that are at home, sequestered from society, and this means, you know, there's no reason romantic comedies are 2 hours, not 15 minutes. True victory in life is
That's a good one. That's a really good one. And I bet I don't even know if they got that. He just said it? Yeah, bro, he said this on fucking national TV. Weird tangent? Yeah, that was perfect. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, it's perfect. Holy shit, that was good.
yeah.
But also, like a lot of guys aren't going to be able to do this. There's some people that are just born loose and they're never going to be successful in a free market because other people will beat them out because they're weak. And that's just what happens. And so you either have to reconcile that and just make sure that these people, like, and this is just what had natural selection. Yeah, that's just what happened. And I'm not being mean. I think it's just the truth. Yeah, I mean, you scout right into it. Yeah, well, as I said, I love saying the thing that's true in the worst possible way to make everybody think it's not true, right? And so I think did I do a good job of that? Hopefully I did. Yeah, some people are born losers. They're never going to be competitive. They're never going to win anything. It doesn't matter how hard they try. Somebody else will always outperform them. And these are people that used to work at McDonald's. These are people who used to work on an assembly line, burning the nut. There you go. Because guess what? If you put them in a physical work that breaks it, whoever is accountable for that is going to be having a bad time. What do you call some people weak? Well, I'm not talking about mentally weak. I'm talking about physically weak. Like, they're shorter. They're smaller. They can't do certain things. Think about it as in terms of in any animal, in any group of animals, a lot of the animals die. In almost every single instance, a lot of them fucking die. Do you really think that that's not the case with people? It's the case with every single group of animals, but not people. Of course it is. Some people are just born losers. Some people spawn in with 60,000, and some people spawn in with 0. And that's the way it goes. I don't think this is a problem that's possible to solve, because you can't empower a person like that. It will never work.
But that's what real victory in real life is like. There's a lot of men who feel rejected on dating apps. The number of jobs that are accessible to them has gone down. You have essentially a group of men who are saying, I want a low-risk entry into life. And they go down a rabbit hole. When they don't have social connections, they don't get out, they don't have the prospect of a romantic relationship, they're more fun. Conspiracy theory.
Well, of course they're prone to conspiracy theory, because it's a conspiracy. It is a conspiracy why they're fucking failures. The fucking government cooked it up. Yeah, the society, they're right.
Leading climate change, and some become really bad citizens. We are producing too many of the most dangerous person in the world, and that is a young, broke, and lonely young man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, every single school shooter basically is that. Now, there's a few exceptions, but it's a big deal whenever one of them is an exception, right? Yeah, most of the time, a lot of the guys who go on shooting rampages are under 25. Guys, losers, or loners.
So this is where it's hot.
These young people that you're talking about.
See, and I also don't think it's because of guns. I really don't. I think guns are a factor, but people had guns in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and shit like that wasn't happening. Like, a lot of people brought that. Like, my dad even told me, he's like, yeah, people would bring their gun to school. They'd leave their shotgun in the car. They'd drive to fucking high school, and they'd leave the shotgun in the car. Not a single one of them took the shotgun in and started shooting a bunch of kids. So what's the difference?
I'll bring this weapon.
I don't even think it's drugs. I actually don't think it's drugs. I think it is, to be honest, I think some of these people are like mental cases, and they should have been institutionalized. But because we can't institutionalize people anymore, they're out free, and some of them shoot up schools. And I think also it's the death of hope. These people have no hope for the future. They don't think that anything is ever going to get better, so they go and kill a bunch of people and then kill themselves. That's it.
For life, that's been going to have 4-year schools or 2-year schools or whatever. It is for life. For the life.
Sorry, I hate pausing it like this because I brought up, there's a good comment here. Somebody says gun education isn't taught anymore. Back then, people were taught the importance. No. Back then, people were taught the importance of life because religion played such a massive role in society, and it no longer exists. Religion has been replaced with political dogma. That's the reason. Almost every single one of these people also are not very religious. Religion isn't necessary? I think it is. I think Karl Marx was right. Religion is the opiate of the people. I think it's true. I do. Again, keep in mind, I have the worst possible view of humanity that you can have. So, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think.
Financial literacy. They don't know anything about money. Who broke with money? All they know is the absence of money. Yeah. I think we need to have, in our curriculums in high school, a class on adulting. My kid, I say to my kid can do integers and basic calculus, but he doesn't understand the interest on his credit card.
That's bad. That's really bad. How? I don't know. That's crazy bad. Yeah, kids won't listen anyway. Well, here's another problem, is that because parents don't have a lot of money, how many of you guys learned how to budget money really well because your parents gave you an allowance? And like, for example, I would get like 20, 30 bucks a week, and then I had to spend some of that on school. Like, I had to buy school lunch with that money, and then anything I had left over was my money that I could spend the way that I wanted. And that teaches kids how to spend money and how to allocate money. Per week? Yeah, week. $40 a week, you're rich. Yeah, I forgot for $20 or $30. If my mom might have upped it to $30, I really don't remember. And get shit. Yeah, but for a lot of you guys that did, do you think that getting an allowance and being able to budget out that money in the way that you chose to helped you better, like, with financial matters? Because for me, I feel like it was very helpful. That's what he's talking about? No, he is. Because, like, you understand, like, people don't understand the importance of money who don't have the ability to use it a lot. The problem is that kids make bad mistakes with money in a space that's safe. Like, you can make a stupid mistake with money at age 11, at age 14. But whenever you make a stupid mistake with money at age 19 and you take out a 21% interest loan on a Dodge Challenger and you don't have a job, well, that's a really big mistake. That's way bigger mistake than buying the wrong video game at GameStop. And so, at a certain point, having kids, it's kind of like a natural immunity or something like that, building up a tolerance to it. So, if kids aren't able to make mistakes as kids, then they're going to make those mistakes as adults instead.
There's just some basic financial literacy that we're not teaching. And when you start replacing civics with computer science, you lose a sense of the country and you start learning about programming. And when you don't talk about basic financial literacy or even mating, I would like to see in the senior year of college mating dynamics and help men understand, and women, what is unique to them and their vulnerabilities to social media. I was talking about the challenges of men from social media. At exactly the wrong time in a young girl's life, she is presented with a valuation where she never gets to leave the high school cafeteria 24/7. And as my colleague Jonathan Hyde has pointed out, we've seen a dramatic uptick in suicide. But I think effectively we just don't have basic skills for young people. We're teaching them advanced things, but we're not teaching them the basics around what mortgage.
Yeah, I completely agree. Kids don't need to learn Algebra 2. It's a waste of time. Nobody cares. They don't need to learn about English literature in senior year. They should definitely learn. And it's not that this stuff doesn't matter at all. It's that other things matter more. And if you have a limited amount of time, it is a bad decision to put this above the other thing. Like, Algebra 2 is very important, but it's not more important than financial accounting. Now change time. Well, I mean, maybe it's not something like that, right? But more about taxes and the cost. Yeah, exactly. Why is math always to blame? Because most people don't use math. Realistically, you're probably, like, I'll tell you, How many times have I needed to calculate the hypotenuse of a square like this? Like, calculate the long one. I'll tell you the amount of times. 0. 0 times. I never had to do it. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I remember how to do it. But a lot of people probably don't. And so if you're teaching people something that 95% of them, 90% of them, 80% of them are never going to use, why are you teaching this to them? Because it goes against fundamentally the way that people learn. People learn and retain information by regularly going back to that information. Like, how many of you guys, for example, had a locker in school and you forgot the password on your locker between, like, semesters or between summer break and the next year? Because you're not using it. So if you teach people skills that they're not going to use, they're just going to forget the skills, and it'll be as likely you never taught them at all. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's just not the way learning works. Always use the same password? Yeah, password 1. There you go.
Just what interest rates mean. So I think we could use just a basic class on adulting, junior or senior year.
Hey everyone, MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how
that guy's totally right.
You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC on the MSNBC app.
Here's the video.
Get or the cloud icon.
Here it is. That was a good video. Yeah, I mean, I would say this guy is based as fuck. Like, it's actually crazy. One of the things that I really like with guys like this is because they say it in such a matter-of-fact way, and it's like people like this have a really good ability to cut through the bullshit. You know, like the romantic comedies are 2 hours and not 15 minutes. That's a good point. That's a really, really good point. And it's just raw. Hypotenuse is alongside the triangle. It doesn't matter, though. That's the point that I'm making. Is that, like, I got a 99 in geometry. I understood that extremely, extremely well. But a lot of it I've probably forgotten by now because I don't use the information. That's the reason why. And that's what happens with anything, Liar. No, I actually did. Like, is it really that hard to imagine? Yeah. And so, and you're limited because of it? No, I'm not. And that's the point that I'm making, is that whenever you teach kids to learn something that they won't use, you're effectively wasting their time. That's the reason why. You're wasting their time. And I think also, like, these things are they're good to know. It's not like it's bad to know this, but again, you live in a world of scarcity. Everything in life is scarce. It's not like you can just have, we'll just teach everybody everything. You don't have time for that. So you have to decide, what are you going to teach people? Is it more important to teach them Pythagorean theorem or how interest rates work? In my opinion, I think interest rates win out 10x, 100x more. So it's not that Pythagorean theorem doesn't matter. It's that other things matter more. Why can't we have both? Because you only have so much time. That's why. So you only have so much time that you have kids in school for. That's the reason. It's very simple. Yeah, they can only do so many classes. They're only going to learn so many things. And that's it. Math is teaching kids how to think. Yeah, but why wouldn't it be better to teach kids how to think in ways that are more practical to their real life? That's the worst argument I've ever heard. Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. That should teach kids how to live. Yeah, exactly. It's about brain development. Okay, so you're telling me that like brain development only happens whenever you learn Pythagorean theorem, but if you learn accounting, they can't develop their brain? That's the most dumb fuck thing I've ever heard. No, that's not the way it works. No fucking, that's so fucking stupid. Where do these chatters come from?
commencing. Report. Success.